Hey guys, it's Caden. Welcome to another Autism Digest interview, where today we have an individual who I'm really excited to talk to. She is the daughter of the late great blues legend, John Lee Hooker, who you might know from hits such as Boom Boom and One Bourbon, One Scotch, One Beer. She is Zakiya Hooker Bell. Thanks for coming on, Zakiya.
No problem. Thank you for having me, Kaden.
All right. I think a lot of people might know you and the story of your dad. You got several pieces of music history on that wall behind you. But for those that may not know you, do you mind summarizing your story in your own words?
Well, my story is I'm the daughter of John Lee Hooker, King of the Boogie is what they call him. He passed on back in 21. He was won 4 Grammys. He's been on all kind of TV programs and everything. And he's a Delta. He does Delta blues. He started out Delta blues, but then once they electrified it, it became electrified blues. Um, if any of you guys have seen the movie Blues Brothers, you have seen him. He before they go into the restaurant with Aretha Franklin, there's a gentleman out on the street playing the guitar. The people are dancing around. That's him. That's John Lee Hooker. So if you don't, you can also go to his website if you want to know more about him, johnleehooker.com. And if you want to delve deeper, do.
Okay.
Myself, I've been doing music since about the 90s. I I travel, I still perform, not often, but I do. We'll be headed to Argentina in December to perform over there. We'll do some shows over there. But I also am the executive director of the John Lee Hooker Foundation, and the website to that is johnleehookerfoundation.org. And you can take a look at that and see what I do and see what the foundation is about. Um, and that's pretty much what I do.
And it's a really good listen. I actually didn't know John Lee Hooker was in the Blues Brothers until this morning, so I might have to watch that again to see if I can spot him. My next question for you is: you have a great grandson on the autism spectrum. Do you mind talking a little bit about what that experience is like for you?
Well, my great grandson is autistic, and he's 6 years old, and he lives in California. And when I visit, I got to see him, and that's when I realized that you know, he was autistic, and it's and because he's a child, he has these spectrums. It's a spectrum. He has the tantrums and he the meltdowns, and then he just, if he just doesn't like something, he doesn't like it. So, I had to learn to figure out which one it was, and to let people know that when he's like that, all you need to do is you pick him up and you hold him until he can bring himself down because he's not able to do that on his own. You have to hold on to him and give him all that love. When he's just having a little tantrum, when he doesn't want, when he wants some candy, or which we don't give him, or when he wants something he wants to do, and it's not something that he is supposed to be doing, then you have to say no. And then he sits up and he cries and he'll let me know. He said, "You hurt my feelings." I said, "Okay, you hurt my feelings." you know. And so we come to a middle of the road when he's not having the meltdown. But when he has the meltdown, we just let him have it. And just all we can do is just hold him until he can come out of it.
I like that. That's perspective. All families with autistic individuals in them said have. My family's the exact same way. I was diagnosed at 2. I'm 21 years old now. Oh, and at 1, they don't let my disability define me. They treat me the same way as everyone else. And 2, they're extremely supportive and they embrace me. So I'm glad your family embraces that. At my next question for you is going back to blues for a moment. It's been an anthem for marginalized groups for generations. How do you think the blues has impacted the autism community? And how do you think the blues will continue to impact marginalized groups like the autism community and motivate them to stand up for what's right?
Mm. Well, I think that there are a lot of sayings out there about what music can do. Music is a healer. Music can soothe the savage beast. Music, you know, is life. Music is everything. Music, the thing I noticed about my little great grandson is he loved music. And so we would put music on, and it didn't necessarily have to be blues or anything else because music is just universal. It's universal. According to the person and what style of music they like, the music is what can, when you're in a bad mood, you go sit down, you put on some music, and you just get into your music. But Sean, we used to play music, and when the music comes on, he goes to dancing. And like I said, if he's having like a little meltdown, you put the music on, you pick him up and you rock him, and eventually he comes down. So is a music is not only a healer, music is a tool, it's an educator, it's all those things. So it needs to be part of a therapy that is used in bringing peace to the inner soul. Yeah. Mhm.
I like that. I love music as well, and I absolutely agree that music should heal the inner soul. It's been used that way, not just blues specifically, but all forms of music for generations. Since going as far as, say, the MLK era, there were several anthems that came out of that at the 1990s with the Rodney King stuff of there were several songs that came out that,
Yeah.
and I
Yes.
absolutely
Songs to
think that it's
uplift.
important. Go ahead.
Mhm. Songs to uplift and give you hope and give you the strength to keep going. Mhm.
Exactly. That's what it's for. Which leads to my next question: How can we preserve legacies of music legends, whether that be autism or blues legend, and so without spreading misinformation?
Well, I think the best way to not spread information, false information, is to, before you open your mouth and talk about it, read about it. Go dig deep into the history of it and where it is and the different types of blues, because there are different types of blues. You've got the Delta blues, which came from the Mississippi Delta, and it's started out as an acoustic. Then you have it's called Piedmont blues, and it's more of a blues that kind of is like the hills, the picking, the finger picking. Then you have your Chicago blues, you have your Texas blues. So, but all at the end of the day, it's all blues. It's just they play it a little different. It sounds a little different. But uh, to me, blues, like I said, no, it's I had a friend say to me the other day, like whenever, blues people get together, they'll always say, long live the blues or keep the blues alive. And my friend, he told me, he says, I hear people say that. And he said, I explained to them that you don't have to keep the blues alive because as long as there's one person out there doing the blues is alive. He says, what you want to keep alive is keep the heritage going, keep the legacy, keep the history. And that's me. Is
Yeah, I really like that. He talked with Shirley King, who was initially supposed to join us today, too. Ooh, how about this? And the big thing is preserving those legacies and educating the newer generation about the history of such figures as
yeah.
Johnny Hooker, B.B. King,
Yeah.
or Buddy Guy, and the people of the past. Because especially nowadays with the rise of AI, not
Oh
only can it
gosh.
spread misinformation, but it disrespects the initial
Oh
history
no. It is,
Right.
I mean, to me, AI has a place. It has a place. And it is not to be putting all this fake stuff out there on the internet, making people look to, just creating images and creating things that I mean, I pretty much know when I'm looking at AI, an AI, image or something that they've created. But I think, AI it's fine, to go in and say, hey, AI, ask it a question, let it give you the answer. But there are people who are using it to write their music. It's writing the music, and that kills the spirit of the music. And I think at the end of the day, a lot of people will find that uh, going back to acoustic music, where there's no electricity involved, there's nothing, it's just true music, acoustic. And that's what my friend and I are getting ready to do. We're getting ready to do an acoustic CD. Just nothing but acoustics, guitars. There's guitars and maybe drums and a piano.
Well, we'll definitely be on the lookout for that, and absolutely agree. I use AI as a tool sometimes when I'm looking for a job or need to do
Yeah,
deep
yeah, I think
research.
we all use it. And like I said, it has its place. Everything in this world has its place. And AI's place is not to be out there putting fake pictures out there and scamming people. And no, it's not. So,
Exactly, especially with the new Sort 2 model. That's how with videos that look incredibly realistic. I'm
they are
extremely
very realistic. When they can take and have a little baby look like Red Fox or somebody like that, Richard Pryor, and have it talking as a baby. I said, oh, that's creepy.
exactly. It's creepy at best and
Creepy.
disrespectful at worst. And it honestly makes me concerned for my generation because nowadays some of the history behind these legends is being silenced and replaced with misinformed AI's urban. And it's sad to see. That's why I love Pocket and with musicians and the relatives of the figures of past. I recently had Rachel Earlson on because it's important to continue preserving these legacies and treating these legends with the respect they deserve. Which leads to my next question for you. What's your advice for anyone who has a relative on the autism spectrum?
Take time to learn. Take time to delve in deeply how to deal with the situation. Because, people without patience, people may think that when an autistic child is screaming and crying that the best thing to do is try to discipline them. You can't do that. They need to understand, they need to read and learn the signs of autism. They need to learn what they should do to help this child, you know, get, move forward and know that and, be dedicated to it. I think, really, I think the best thing you can do for people who find that they have an autistic child in their life or an autistic adult or whatever is to take time to educate themselves as to how they need to deal with this situation and what they need to do and get the tools that they need to work with because sometimes human beings can be short-tempered and mean and cruel sometimes. I see how they do children sometimes, even children without autism. So and it's a hard job raising a child with autism because they're very, very, very high, high maintenance. And they need to have the patience and the love and educate themselves as to how they should deal with this situation and give that
I absolutely agree with
all
that.
Yeah, they have to give that child a chance and give him everything he needs to move forward in life.
I absolutely agree, and I definitely love that point you made. There's a lot of humans who are cruel in society. That's just the way the real world works. But it's important to rise beyond that and be better than those humans,
Yeah,
especially with the amount of misinformation that's out there
out
now,
there.
not even considering
Mhm.
what's going
I
on in
mean,
the White House.
that's yeah. When I realized my great grand had autism, the thing I started to do, my son and I, we started to gather information, gather information, gather information, and learn the signs and learn the difference between just a simple tantrum and a meltdown. We had to know that. You need to know these things. You need to read and educate yourself, and you need to be prepared.
Exactly. When I was first learning about autism, I myself was misinformed about it and didn't quite understand it. But after research, and I learned to be passionate about this cause and think of autism as a gift. So I'm definitely agree that research needs to be done.
And reach out to people. If you know someone, we all probably know someone who has an autistic person in their family, autistic child or whatever. Reach out. I mean, my friend in Arizona, she, her son is autistic. I reached out to her and we talked and she gave us a lot of tips, but you know, uh, join a group, meet with like people, people who have the same issues as you. It's all a form of educating yourself and reaching out and, you know, mm, getting ready for the journey. And
Ex-
yeah.
Exactly. That's what I love doing these because you never know who's involved with this. Us. My last question for you is: you promoted a lot of stuff, touring an album specifically, but other than those two things, what does the future hold for you? Do you think?
Well, the future holds for me is I'm pretty much doing a lot of work around my foundation, around my dad's foundation. It's the John Lee Hooker Foundation, and I'm the executive director and the the I guess I do the web page, I do all the ads, I do a lot. But my thing is I just want to get it up and running so that I can give back the way my dad gave, because he was such a generous man. It was rare that he would say no to anyone. And I want that same spirit along with, you know, in the foundation. And our goal, our mission was initially starting out, helping underprivileged children, children who were not able to maybe go to a summer camp, who maybe would have liked to know music and didn't have an instrument. And, to go into the schools, we gave guitars to the schools, and we had a blues in the school program, but it ended. But we still have a few out there. The one that I'm working with one now here in Georgia that I'm trying to get started. And I'll be working with this holiday season coming up. We'll be working with people donating food and, going out to help serve food and do all those things. And then I make jewelry. So I just make the jewelry and I put it on the website, the foundation website, and all the proceeds go to the foundation. I mean, there are a lot of issues that the Jolly Hooker Foundation can deal with. Uh, we have my great grandbaby who is autistic. My sister who was on drugs, and she got hold of some bad drugs with fentanyl in it, and she died. My brother who was on drugs forever, but he finally came off. We have, every family has it. We've had children who are in prison. So there are so many things that the foundation, as it grows, as it grows, because I just took it over, as it grows, that I want to deal with, that I want to deal with, that I want to reach out and help. So I don't want to just be confined to just the music and the arts part of it, because there's more to life than that. Yeah.
I absolutely agree, and I'm really looking forward to seeing it grow. Anyways, that's going to do it for this interview. Thanks so much to Zakiya for coming on and sharing her amazing story. If you guys want to see more amazing interviews, research, like, comment, and subscribe to the Autism Digest channel. Our November issue is out now. Oh, it looks something like this, but with
Oh,
a different covering content. So if you're interested in getting your copy, go to autismdigest.com and stay tuned for the audio file of this interview to be posted on our Spotify. Thank you
okay.
guys so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.